My name is Tunu Jumwa. I'm a musician, a bassist, and a teacher of music. So I got into music several years ago from the influence of my dad. My dad loves music. We grew up with instruments, my brother and I. We grew up with instruments in our house and would see my dad play them. And so at some point we picked them up. He taught me my first few chords. For the people who know music, it's funny that I knew how to play major sevenths before I knew how to play like the basic C and A and G or whatever. And so when he taught me how to play music, I fell in love with it, and the rest is history. I still play music now, like 20 years later. So I used to play the classical guitar or acoustic guitar for many years. I played that throughout primary and my high school. I did like competitions in high school playing the guitar. Then when I finished, actually before I finished high school, I discovered a bassist on YouTube called Michael. And one of his performances made me decide immediately that I wanted to switch. And so also that time it coincided with a new instrument in the house. My dad had bought a bass guitar for my brother, and his instrument looked very attractive, very new. It was also a 6-string bass, and Pipo Kenya played a 6-string bass as well. So I was like, I have to switch. So that's when I began to play the bass guitar. That's what made me switch. I've been part of 2 Safaricom Jazz events. The first one was a private concert. The story behind that one is I was very new to the industry. So for some reason, while we performed, I felt like everyone was looking at me. I had very big expectations of myself and the performance. And so like I was very nervous. And unfortunately that affected how I performed in that one. So as a result, over the years, I figured that, oh my goodness, I need to get used to being in front of people. Yeah, the other one was just so much fun. And what I got away from that is that I should really enjoy the music first. Like it's not that serious. So yeah. Oh, and then another thing that happened with the second edition of the Safaricom Jazz Festival is that we sort of got fired. And for me, that was a shock. So it made me realize that the music career can have challenges in that regard. Yeah, so like that was a hit for me because at the time, the Safaricom Jazz for me was the epitome of my career. If I had made it into Safaricom Jazz, that was going to be, the start of all good things. But it wasn't like that. So it made me aware of that it's not such an easy journey. And that was very painful for me at the time. So yeah, that impacted my career. I mean, my life in such a manner that I also got into education at that time after that. Yeah. like I said earlier, my entry into education was by fluke. It sort of happened that we had been fired from like one of the gigs, and I realized, oh, music may not be as sustainable as I thought it was gonna be, and so I got into education. But um, I quickly learned that it was very fulfilling. I enjoy seeing the young kids grow to love music. So my goal is for them to enjoy music, to hopefully foster a love of music in them the way I have. Yeah. Okay, so one of my biggest inspirations that got me started, especially playing instruments, was my dad. Because we had instruments in the house. So my dad is my first big inspiration. Then I discovered a bassist called Michael Picopinya. That's who got me to switch from the guitar to the bass guitar. Victor Wooten, who's also an American bassist, he gives apart from his music, he gives like very good life advice. So those are my big ones. So I was very lucky to get a sponsorship from Fodera Guitars to attend the camp. That was a dream come true. I couldn't believe that I had met, like I got to meet and actually even sleep on his couch to meet Victor Wooten, because he was one of my earliest influencers in playing the bass. I got to meet people from all around the world, which was um, quite something. Most of the I met people who are friends to date. Um, so yeah, that was a good experience. In terms of collaborations, there's a project for Samuel Mutuku, who is some saxophonist, a really good, one of the best saxophonists in Nairobi. Um, we had that project recorded towards the end of last year, so that project is about to come out soon. So my responses are going to be a little bit ambitious, but George Benson, um, I'd love to meet Michael Kipokenya in real life and even just jam with him. Um, in Kenya, I've always wanted to do a project with another female musician, actually, a guitarist. Her name is Ivy Alexander. I wanted to do a project with her. But basically, I just want to play, so it doesn't matter who. So, to be very honest, it's not something that I think about. I just love music, and so and then I also have an obsessive quality to me. Whenever I have an interest, and not just in music, like even in the smallest of things, say a phone game, I want to get the highest score or whatever. So it's not something that I think about. I just want to be the best that I can be so that I can express myself. I just say enjoy the process. So most of the time we get hung up on the destination and forget to enjoy the journey. So just enjoy the process. If you're working on something very simple that to you you might feel like, so what does this have to play in the bigger picture? That's what matters at the time. Yeah, that and work on your mental health. Your worth is not contingent upon how good you are as a musician. You're worthy before that.